Stewart, and unlike Walter, I do have some notes here because I have a tendency to get real excited and kind of just really go on and on and on, so I'm going to keep myself on point because you guys want to go home sometime tonight. But just tell you a little bit about myself. As I said, I'm Pam Stewart, and I'm County Commissioner. My husband Keith and I live in the Silco District of Chatham County. I live right next door to my father. And I grew up in Durham County, but my husband is actually a native of Chatham County, lived in Pittsburgh all of his life. He grew up there, went to Northwood High School. And my grandparents actually, if I look back in my family tree, I go all the way back to the early 1700s actually, having ancestors that came from Chatham County. My grandparents and my great-grandparents were farmers. And my dad still likes to farm, and if anyone knows what I'm talking about, in July I have to take a few days off from work so I can help him put up the corn that he plants behind our house every year. So farming is still a big part of our lives, especially for me because I work for Bayer in Research Triangle Park. I've been there for 26 years, and I work in the agriculture division, which is Bayer Crop Science. I am a head of web communications there, and I'm also oversee all web-related communications and digital for the U.S. business of Bayer Crop Science. I have about 4 people that report to me, and I serve on several global committees in Germany that sets the strategic direction of our digital for global Bayer Crop Science. So strategy is pretty much what I do. And that's how I think. I think very strategic. So every day in my work, automatically, I'm always setting strategy and setting the objectives and goals, and then implementing the plan that puts things in place. So, I always think of things in the form of, let's have a plan. Let's have a strategy. How are we going to accomplish this? Looking at what happens and what's going to go on in the future. I'm also a certified Crucial Conversations instructor. I'm part of the Bayer Leadership Academy team, so I give classes as well, and I also do mentoring for several employees across various parts of the organization in career path development. So education to me is very, very important at any age, whether you're an adult or whether you're just starting out in kindergarten. And so that's kind of a little bit of a passion of mine. I'm a lifelong learner. And again, like I said, having a plan has always been very important. So that has to do with why I ran. Like Walter, I was more or less approached. I've had my opinions in the past about things in Chatham County. Having come from Durham County, if you know anything about Durham County, I've seen so many changes there over the years. One of the things that I noticed living in Chatham County is that I was seeing kids grow up, go to school, go away, and never come back. I even had my kids, by the way, I have 3 grown kids and 8 grandchildren. And so I was noticing that, hey, Mom, we'd like to move to Chatham County to be close by, but there's really nowhere to work. As I said, I drive all the way to RTP every day. And I'm thinking, wow, why is this? Why aren't we looking to bring more business, into Chatham County and more growth? And then my father, of course, being retired, is always worried about, okay, so what's the property taxes going to be this year? Are they going to raise the property taxes? And I started looking into all of this and realized that, a lot of, our funding and revenue is coming from the property taxes that we pay. And so this was an opportunity for me to get more involved in looking at how we can make, a difference going forward, to maybe change that dynamic a little bit so that we can be able to live here and work here and play here and not spend our money outside the county, but to keep that more, inside the county to where we can benefit from it. So a little bit about the past 4 years. Walter touched on some things, and I'm going to touch on real high level on some points. And some of these go back to, I think, what you may have read in the newspaper in Chapel Hill. I thought it was an excellent article. I couldn't believe it either. I was really surprised. I'm like, wow, we must really be doing something right if that happens. But when we took office about 4 years ago, we had a vision and we had a plan. And we brought with us our various experiences and expertise, from the private sector. And we had a desire to improve the quality of life, for the citizens of Chatham County, and also common sense. I don't know how many of you remember, but we ran on that in our platform, Common Sense Government. And that's really how we kind of conducted business going forward for the next 4 years. Now jobs in the county are up 270% more than making up for the losses that we have, because we went through a really bad time as far as jobs throughout North Carolina, throughout the country. And that has actually resulted in a 600% increase in private capital investments. 600% in this kind of economic climate of the last 4 years. Property tax revenue basically is up for new investments. Sales tax revenue has doubled, and that does not count the new Walmart sales tax that have come in. So with all of this, has allowed us to avoid a 1.5 cent increase in property tax that we actually did not have to do because of that. It's brought in that extra revenue. We've had no increase in property taxes, as Walter says, in the last 4 years, even though we've had to increase spending. School operations have been fully funded. We've had to make up for the deficit that the state has caused when they decreased our funding from the state level, so we had to make it up at a county level. We've added teacher supplements and bonus programs, which, by the way, were not something that was asked of us to do by the Board of Education. We did this on our own. And we've also given raises to the county employees, who were actually dramatically underpaid if you look at what the other counties were paying their staff and what we were paying ours. So we've tried to bring those up. So we've also, one thing that's very important is building new schools are important, but what is equally as important, and to me more important, is renovations on our current schools. And we had schools that were in really need of repair, badly in need of repair. So we're doing renovations, on those and kind of getting those up to speed. We're building a new detention center and an agricultural conference center, which will generate revenue. So in many cases, when you build something like this, in the county, a county building, it doesn't generate revenue. In this case, an ag center will help to generate revenue to pay for itself. So all of this stuff was done while we maintained, as Walter said, and also, as Joe had mentioned, he talked about a healthy county fund balance and also helped to improve our bond rating, which is also something that's very, very important. And we had significant positive results, even though we had a lot of devastating plant closures. And also, look at what happened in the housing market. So I think that's just tremendous. In the results. If you look at what the circumstances were, you look at everyone around us and what's going on in the counties around us, and you look at what we've been able to do in these 4 years, it just stuns me, actually. Sometimes I think, wow, I can't believe it. But it is something really great, and we want to tell that story, and we want to make sure other people know that, because I don't think a lot of people in Chatham County realize, all of this. So, as Joe's mentioned, we've got the first state certified mega site, and then we have another one on the way. And Chatham Park is going to be a state-of-the-art community, mixed-use community. It's not just another large housing development, as some people may think. So we've had some really, really great things happen. And then, in addition to that, we have also been able to maintain protection of our environment and strengthen it. We've made our county offices and our employees more customer focused, more customer friendly. We've improved processes without actually, taking away any of the protections that are in place that protect the environment. So I think that, one of the other things too, that last thing that I'll point out about some of the things that we've done is that we've built relationships with the school board. That's something that was really, really important. And I remember the first budgeting process we went through with the school board, and it's some of those dynamics, and we have been able to change that. And some of the things we've done with building the new joint school-county garage is something that even the Department of Public Instruction say that most counties have tried and have failed, because you have to have that collaboration and relationship between the two boards. And we've been able to accomplish that. So, we've done a lot of things great in the past, but then there's the future in the next 4 years. And it's important to me to see Chatham County succeed. And we need to look around it and see what works. We've got to know what works. Our policies must put us in a more sustainable path moving forward. So it's more important to get out there and do something right than just to do something. So we need to be flexible. We need to know how to embrace the change and need to know how to correct our course if and when we need to do that. And we also need to have balance. And we must do certain things to continue to protect our natural resources, protect our water supply, support our schools. As I said, I'm a believer in education, and a believer that education is not just the building. Education is good teachers, it's methodology, it's tools, it's expertise. You know, it's a lot of things besides just the building. And also to protect our agriculture heritage, which is very, very important. Again, coming from an agriculture background and working in the ag business, I understand this. I understand that we're not making any more land, and I understand how many people we're going to have to be in the year 2050. And I know how important, you know, keeping rural parts of the county rural are. So we want to keep the proper balance in certain part of the counties to remain rural, while other areas that have access to infrastructure will support the business growth. And one fact that I saw that I thought was very telling is that with all the new development that we're talking about happening here in Chatham County, it only equals about 3% of the county land. 3%, which is a very, very small footprint. So economic, you know, development actually touches us in a lot of ways, from, you know, income in our households to providing for our communities. One thing that many people don't think about when they think about businesses, especially large businesses or global business coming into a community, is what they give back to the community in corporate social responsibility. Working in a very large company the way I do, I see this very much so in our area. The money that we put back into the community, that we give in charities like the United Way, the food banks, education, the arts, that comes back to the community to support the community. So, you know, having said all of this, I think that probably just in closing, and I know that Brian is going to touch on a lot of things a little bit probably more in detail and give you some more facts, but basically I think that we were able to kind of turn the ship around and start, you know, charting a new course and going forward. And so, you know, now we have to keep moving in the right direction. If something happens and things start to turn in the other direction, we start going backwards, we may lose our opportunity to prosper. I think right now, if I could say one last thing, I'd say I think, in my opinion, that Chatham County's time is right now. Right now. I mean, we have such a great window of opportunity right here, and if we don't take advantage of it before it closes, we may lose the opportunity going forward. And I don't want to see us turn into another Chapel Hill or Durham or Cary or Apex. I want us to be different. I want us to be innovative. I want us to be better. I think that a lot of eyes are on us. I think we've done a lot of really good things, and we're getting a lot of recognition, you know, from around us to say, look at what Chatham is doing, how they're actually doing it. I think that speaks for itself. And I thank you. I thank you for coming out in this weather, and I really thank you for the support and, you know, hopefully the support going forward. And I hope you will continue to allow us to serve, all three of us, because as Walter mentioned, it's one for all here. It's all three of us, or, you know, it's nothing to maintain the majority on the board. Thank you.